Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining me today for today's training on Expedia TAAP. I'm going to show you a couple of different things. First off, I want to introduce myself. My name is Deidre Norton. I'm a platinum leader with Evolution and Archer Travel. I am team leader and platinum leader for Team Powerhouse. So what we're going to do today is show you some things for Expedia TAAP. So the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen. And then we are going to go into Expedia TAAP. And obviously, if you if you're not logged in, you have to log in. So the first thing I'm going to show you today is just kind of how to add a service fee or a charge. I did this training last week on it. So if any of you were on, then you may have you may have already watched this, but I want to show you again. So let's just say if we're going to look for a property, and let's just say we're going to New Orleans. All right, and we're going to choose some dates of June 18th through the 23rd. One room, two travelers. All right, so let's just see what we find like here. Let's pick this one because I want to show you guys how you can add a service fee or extra commission. So we would come down and we'd find our room. We're just going to choose this room here. So let's say if we wanted to reserve this or generate a quote. So if you want to add a service fee and generate a quote, you would click generate quote. And I'm going to show you something else too while creating a quote. That way we don't have to go back. So you see here, see how this gives you the option to be able to add a service fee. But when you're generating a quote, it will not show you what your commission is already. So I will go back and show you how to know what your commission is going to be to decide whether you wanted to add any percentage for commission or a fixed amount. So let's just say we wanted to add $100 to this. It's going to give us an extra $100 in what we call commission or an extra $100 for a service fee. So then you just hit apply. So then it's going to change the price to the $11.53.55. So it added an 11.1% extra. Now, if we were going to try to prepare a quote to send to a client, what's nice about this is you can delete all of this information. And I love this feature now about Expedia TAAP. So you can add your own business name. You could put your address, which I'm not going to do it. I normally just do my phone number. And then I add my email. Okay. And then here, what's nice, you can add a logo to it. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like when it goes to that client. So if you were to add a logo, you would find where you have your logo saved. Here. And then look how nice. It puts your own logo on here. So you would save it as the traveler's name. We're just going to say Kelly. You could name your quote. It can only have letters in it in both of these fields. It won't let you put anything. So if you were going to do what I typically do is come here and I just copy the hotel's name so I know what it is. And then it puts that hotel in there. I don't know why it's doing this to me now. It's going to act up, I guess. So let's just do. There we go. I don't know why it was acting up. All right. Now let me show you what it's going to look like. So down here, you could go in and you could add some information. Let's say we want to go back and we want to do the total, the quote caps. So we would do 1153 because that's going to be our total price. And then you could come in here and you could add this. One king bed. And let's say you wanted to come up here and you wanted to be able to go back and add some information about it. You would just click back on this tab and come back up here. And you could actually do this. You would choose about the property. Then we would go back to where we were. So it's only going to let you put so many characters. So I'll just back this out. So see how it gives you some information. Now watch. If you don't want your client to see all of this information right here, then what you could do is you could hide the price. We also would want to make sure that we add the date. So let's see what happens right here. Two adults, one room, June 18th through the 23rd. So it's got all the information in it. Now we have our price hidden because I want to show you what it's going to look like when you would send it to the client. So look how nice. It's got my information. It's got my logo, has all the information. And then there's your little message. So when you send this to them, this is what they would get. And I will show you what I'm talking about. So here, if I wanted to save it as a PDF, this is what you could do. You could save it. I'm going to save it as, so I know what it is, and then hit save. Now, if you were to leave it to where it said show price, and you did it this way, see how it's got everything over here? But what I don't like about this is it shows that you added that extra service charge, and it's just going to give you more of a reason that you would have to kind of explain what that is. So if you provide the total price, that gives them a total price for the whole amount, okay? Now, let's say we wanted to go and we wanted to email this to someone. I'm just going to email this to myself. And I'm going to put all right. And then what I typically put in here is because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to be able to show them some photos in this quote, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we add that attachment. So you go back and you're going to find it. I'm just going to search for it here. There it is. And that's that PDF that I saved. So here it's going to save out right here. So now let's go back because I'm going to show you what you can do to get some photos for them to view. We're going to close this out. And then here, we're going to click on some photos. So you'd come down and you could save it to your computer. I have a Mac, which I absolutely love because it's super easy to do photos, save them. So you're going to save a few so they can know what they're looking at. So we did a king bedroom. You could do a lobby photo if you wanted to. So you could do as many photos as you want. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time doing photos. But let's go find a king room that we put in this quote. You could add that one. So you can add as many photos as you want. Let's just do it right here. So this would be a good one. All right, so now we have those photos added. So now we're going to go back to that email. And we're going to come down and we're going to add those attachments. So we're going to go find our photos. And we're going to add these 4. It's going to add those photos. And I did some quotes this morning and I added 18, 19 photos. So it's super nice. So now we're going to send this email and I want to show you what it's going to look like when your client opens it. I've attached a PDF with all the details and added additional photos for your viewing. So here they've got all of the photos that they can view. And here is that PDF. So they can view all the information about it. And do you notice it does not have anything about Expedia TAAP on it. So they do not know the supplier's name. They can click on the photos and then they can view all the photos that you sent them. Anybody have any questions so far? Oh, let's go back. How did I hide the price? Well, let's go back. See if I can find that. All right, I'm gonna have to do this real quick again. We did this one king room because I closed it out. So you're gonna go back to where you do your quote. And you would add all this information again because I already took it out. Do that. If you want to hide the price, see right here where it says hide price. And then when you open up the PDF, if you want to preview it, this is what it would look like. I'm sorry. Let's see. Preview. There we go. So this shows right here, but it will be blacked out to your client. You will not be able to see this. And I'll show you what I mean. So if we're going to preview, oh, I know what it is. We got to do all this. There you go. So now you see how that price is gone. It's not there. Then you would have all your additional info in here because how I added before, I put all of that information in this right here. And then if you leave the price showing, it's going to show all of this. Is that better? Okay, perfect. All right, anybody have any other questions? All right, so I basically just was able to show you very quickly how you can create a quote, how you can add your information, what you can include, what you don't have to include. Would anyone like me to do another one and go through it one more time? One more? All right, let's do one more. Does not take long at all. All right, let's close this out. Get back to where we were. Let's just keep this here. We have our dates. Now, you cannot add, let me show you this. You cannot add extra fees, extra commission to flights or to packages. It could only be to properties, and I haven't even tried cars or activities. We could do that if you wanted. So right now it's only properties. They are in the works for us to be able to add a service fee onto our flights. And let's just see if they've done that. If not, then I can show you what I mean. Atlanta, let's go to Orlando. And let's depart on June 18th, return on the 23rd. Those are our dates. We'll just do one traveler. So here's where you would search for a flight. I'm going to make this easy, filter out Delta. We're going to choose this flight right here. We're going to choose this one. And then we're going to pick a returning one at 5:50 p.m. Yeah, so it looks like they still do not have it to where we can add those quotes, but I cannot wait until they have that option available for us to be able to add that service fee to those flights, which is going to be very nice, because right now we don't really have a way to earn commission on flights except by using Vax, Centrav, or adding a service fee to our flights or calling Peggy at Archer and having her do it. So I'm super excited about this feature when it does become available. So as I said, you're not able to add it there. So let's just go see if we can add any to cars. I haven't tried that. We're going to pick it up in Orlando. Same as the pickup. Let's do that same date just to use those. Just leave all this, search. We're just going to pick this one. So reserve. Yeah, right now we can't do it on cars either. So that answered that question. Let's try activities. I'm just playing around now. So there's some theme park tickets in here. Hey, this is new. Let's try this. See tickets. Yeah, it doesn't look like you're going to. We'll just do this one. Sea Life Orlando. If you were to hit book. So there's your commission. Yeah, so we can't add service fees to that either. So now let me go back and let's do a booking really quick. Properties, New Orleans. So if you're trying to debate whether you want to add a service fee to it or not, and I always try to see what my commission is going to be before I decide if I want to add one. So the only way you can view your commission to know what it's going to be is if we were going to do the same room, you could view it right here and it'll tell you 111.07. So that means that's what you would earn on this booking, right? Maybe you've tried to compare a couple of different quotes and you kind of want to be compensated for your time, right? So that's where I would choose to add that $100. So if you were ready to reserve it, you could click reserve. See, it's $900.55. Then I'm going to add that $100 fee. And then you see, I'm going to earn $217 as opposed to I earn $100 extra dollars. You could remove it if you think it's too much. You could do an extra percentage. 5% will give you an extra $45. So it's all kind of personal preference. If you're trying to decide how much or if you should, I would kind of like find another platform somewhere and just compare cost. So that's all kind of personal preference. Let's go back so we can do that quote again. So I can show you how to prepare that because I love the fact that you can do those. So hotels are going to be the only thing that you can prepare, save quotes and send them to the client. If you're trying to put together a package, it's not really going to give you that option because you aren't able to save flights as a quote. So maybe you want to do a fully refundable one. You could choose this. You could do fully refundable, reserve now, pay later. And then let me show you what's going to happen. It's going to give you breakfast as well. But let's just say we choose fully refundable. Let's see if it allows us to add that service fee on that fully refundable. Yes, we can. I wanted to find one that was a pay now or either pay later. This one, let's see what it does to us. All right, so this gives you an option to pay now or pay at property. And I want to show you what happens if you were to choose for your client, pay at the property. We know this property already allows us to be able to add that service fee. When you do pay at the property, that option to be able to add that service fee or the extra commission is gone. And look at the difference. You'd only earn $59 commission on this room versus hey now. I want you to watch. It's the same amount, but look at the difference in commission. So you're going to lose money if you choose that pay at property option for your clients. If they insist on a payment plan and you can't find any other option for them in any of our other platforms that they can do payments, just know that you're going to lose about $50 of that commission or $40. So when we did the pay at property, it gave us around $59 commission. Doing it this way, always make sure when you're giving them a quote too, the total amount is $1,330.65. What they're going to pay now is $1,180. They're going to pay at check-in $150. So when you provide that to them, you need to let them know that that's what it's going to be, okay? I'm just checking the chat. So now let's go back and do that whole quote over again. All right, that king room, we're going to generate that quote. You're going to see our total amount is $1,050.55. I'm going to add that $100 because I want that extra service fee because I've done a lot of work for this client. Let's just pretend. All right, here's where you would come in and fill in all of your information because you wouldn't want to send them a quote and have all of that information on it. So here, and then we would do our logo. Puts our logo there. We're going to name it Deidre Norton. We're going to take all of this out. We're going to put the name of the hotel. If you want to leave the pricing, it will show this if you've added a service fee. If you don't add any extra, it won't show that you've added anything. It'll just give the total amount. All right, so if you're okay with that, here is where I always come down because I hide my price. When you send them a quote too, this is important. I didn't tell you this earlier. Always add right here, which I think it's up here. Yeah, prices and availability are not guaranteed. So that's in there. So you don't have to add that there. So here we would just do gonna add that 1153. I'm gonna hide this. Here you could do one king bed. Oh, it double did it, didn't it? Let me get out of this. Room is one king bed. And then remember, if you wanted to add the details, a little bit of detail, you just click back to that tab you had open, come back up here. I typically just send this. We'll just send this part right here. Go back to that open tab. It's got some information in it. Now, if you want to view the PDF to see what it's going to look like, and remember I have my price hidden, this is what your client will see when they open it. It has your information. Prices and availability are not guaranteed until booked. Got your dates. So you really wouldn't have to come down here and do the whole king bed thing because it's right here. Also includes $130 credit per room per stay. It is a non-refundable. So all of that information is in here. Now, if you wanted that price to show, you just unhide it. And then this is what it would look like. And there's that fee. Let's take this off. Let's remove that fee. Now it just gives you the total, $1,050.55, right? So if you were going to now view it without a service charge, it would be okay if you wanted to leave that on here. It lets them know. Total amount, $1,050.55. Payable at property. So they would pay when they book $900.55. Anybody have questions? All right. Was that pretty easy for everyone? All right. Thank you all for joining me today. You know me, I do all of our travel trainings. I call it beginner style on Fridays. I do some on Thursdays as well. So I thank you all for joining me, and I hope everyone has a fabulous weekend.